So my name is Eeva Savolainen and I work as an information specialist at Aalto University, Finland. And I have worked with Pure for about 2 years now. And I have to tell that I've been learning a lot. I've been doing validating things, and now I'm starting to learn to do some administrator things. And I have discovered that a good way to learn things is to make a presentation. So now I'm sharing you a presentation on the integrations and data flows between Aalto Current Research Information System ACRIS and the Finnish Research Information Hub. Couple of words about Aalto University. At first, it was born when Helsinki University of Technology, University of Art and Design Helsinki, and Helsinki School of Economics merged in 2010. And we have 6 schools: School of Arts, Design and Architecture, School of Business, and 4 technical schools. And you can see that we are quite a small university. We have only 12,600 students, 4,000 staff members, and 400 professors altogether. Then something about ACRIS, our current research information system. It's the research information system which is obviously based on Pure, since I'm here. The public portal can be found in Research.aalto.fi. And I have collected some figures here to give you an overview of different content types in our database. Then about the Finnish Research Information Hub, I will refer to this information hub with term Research.fi because, well, it's shorter and it fits better to the slides. It doesn't take so much time to say the Finnish Research Information Hub over and over again. It is maintained by the CSC IT Center for Science. It offers access to information on science and research in Finland by collecting metadata on publications, research data, research infrastructures, and information on funded research projects. In addition, it shows funding calls, science and research statistics, and use. And all this information is collected from different research information systems. Okay, this image here illustrates the integrations and data flows from ACRIS to Research.fi. Publications, okay, it's here, and researcher profiles, they are stored in Aalto Data Warehouse. And as for publications, they are transferred as XML files to Virta, which is the publication information hub, and from there to Research.fi. As for researcher profiles, which is the integration that is in progress at the moment, that data will be transferred directly from Aalto Data Warehouse to Research.fi. And what comes to datasets, that information is transferred to Research.fi via a REST API, and Metax, which is the Finnish hub for research data. Infrastructures are currently inserted using an online form, so there is no automated integration at the moment taking place. Project information is going to Research.fi directly from the funder systems, so that information is not going via Pure. Okay, next I will go through these different integrations and data flows. And we will look at the publications at first. That publication information data is integrated from ACRIS to Research.fi via Aalto Data Warehouse. I'm repeating the same thing, so maybe you can remember it afterwards better. And they go to Virta Publication Information Service. And it is a data hub that compiles bibliographic information on the Finnish scientific research outputs. Ministry of Education and Culture in Finland uses this publication data for calculating the basic funding of the universities, as well as monitoring research activities. And research organizations send their publication data as a transfer file, which needs to be compliant with a XML schema. And different metadata fields are required from different publication types. And next I will show you an example of peer-reviewed article and what kind of mandatory fields there are. Before that, I will show you just quickly the Ministry of Education types, culture, Ministry of Education and Culture types of publications. And I will not go very deep into this, but I just want to point out the category A, which refers to scientific peer-reviewed articles. Simply put, this A category covers articles, book chapters, and conference articles. And our example is A1, a journal article. And in the left-hand side column, where is the, okay, here. Okay, I was pressing the wrong button, so it didn't work. You can see the ACRIS, so the pure fields. And up on the right, okay, and I'm learning to use this, you can see the corresponding fields in Virta that are mandatory for the data transfer. And these mandatory fields include basic information of the article, such as title, organization-specific ID, Ministry of Education publication type, and field of science, and a title and ISSN number of the journal, year of publication, and information of the contributors. Organization ID in here, it's not pulled from Pure, but it's hard-coded in the data. Otherwise, it's quite easy to pull this kind of information from Pure and to transfer it to some place. It's quite easy for many of these voluntary data fields as well, such as internationality or information on the self-archived publications. And if we look at the publication record in ACRIS and Research.fi, we can see some differences. Okay, I don't think you can see much of this because it's really, really small. But I can point out some points here. ACRIS displays more information on the content, such as the abstract here and the fingerprints, and also the metrics. Whereas Research.fi emphasizes more the information that is important for the data collection of the ministry, such as information on open access and self-archiving, internationality, and that the publication is included in this data collection. So the metadata is pretty much the same, but the highlighting is a bit different. Okay, next, something about the datasets integration. The information on datasets is transferred to ACRIS, from ACRIS to Metax, which is the Finnish metadata hub for datasets, via a REST API. And in addition to Research.fi, datasets in Metax will be searchable also in the National Fair Data ETSIN research data engine. And this metadata must be compliant with Metax metadata model. And the mandatory metadata fields include a persistent identifier, some basic descriptive metadata such as title, description and keywords, publication date of data, information on creators, and information on access rights. And if the dataset is not open, then the grounds for the restrictions must be defined. And in the integration project, this keyword turned out to be a problematic field. We were planning to use the data monitor categories field of Pure, but unfortunately that field was not available in Pure API. So an alternative solution needed to be found. And our technical team told that they asked for technical support and documentation on the API from Pure a couple of times, but they kind of felt that they did not get the help they would have needed in a way that they would have maybe wanted to have a dedicated technical person to help with the questions during the project. But we got this integration up and running, and our validators take care that all the fields are filled in correctly, so the data transfer will work. Okay, and now if we look at the dataset record in ACRIS and Research.fi, we can see, okay, we can't see, okay, sorry. Anyway, in ACRIS there is information on the temporal coverage and the geographical coverage, which is not available in Research.fi. And otherwise, this data is pretty much the same. And the newest integration, which is not working at the moment, is Researcher's Profile tool. And it is estimated to be in production next year. The Act on the National Research Information Hub came into force this year, and it enables transferring this researcher information from research information systems such as ACRIS to Research.fi. In addition, permission for data transfer is asked from the users in the profile tool. So nothing is sort of displayed without people knowing about it. Researcher data is sent from ACRIS to Research.fi, again via Aalto Data Warehouse. And researchers can create a profile in the portal and incorporate information not only from their home organization, but also from ORCID, and choose which information they want to show publicly. And the users must have an ORCID, and they need to authenticate with suomi.fi, which is a strong identification for e-services of public administration organizations in Finland. Here is an overview of the contents of the researcher's profile. The users have quite a good control over what will be shown about their information. Publications, research data, and projects are public by default. But if we look at the personal data, such as names or description of research subjects, affiliations, education, other research activities and merits, such as expert positions, that information that researcher can decide whether they want to be showed publicly or not. Okay, here are some mock-up pictures. On the left, there is a picture of the public profile, and on the right, there is a picture how a user can choose which information and from which affiliation they want to be showed. Like this example, she or he wants to show his outputs from the University A. This is a picture of profile search in Research.fi. It is only in Finnish, but on the left there is a filter where you can choose from which organizations or from which field of science you want to search for these researchers. There's also a preliminary plan to launch a new service which could be used to produce CVs according to a certain format from this research information. Okay, the last integration is research infrastructures. And in Research.fi, as in many other places, this infrastructure refers to research tools, equipment, data sets, and services of national importance. And this information is delivered from ACRIS to Research.fi using an online form at the moment. We also tested the automatic transfer, but it was not implemented due to problems in our data. But it will be investigated in the future again, because of course it doesn't make much sense to insert those things manually when you basically could have this integrated. But this automatic data transfer requires that data regarding infrastructures is compliant with Research.fi data model. And here are again the mandatory metadata fields for research infrastructure, including the descriptive metadata such as title and starting year, and continuing to contact information, and coordinating organization information. And there also needs to be at least one service related to this research infrastructure. And differences with the metadata visibility of research infrastructure Otanano in ACRIS and Research.fi are that firstly the keywords are not visible in ACRIS, but they are in Research.fi. And ACRIS has visual elements, such as the map, which is not available in Research.fi. And Research.fi doesn't have the information on the contact persons or links to publications yet, but they will become there later. And Research.fi also has classifications related to whether this infrastructure is included to the Academy of Finland roadmap or to the European Strategy Forum on Research Infrastructures. This data is missing from ACRIS at the moment. Okay, so that was a short overview of these different integrations and data flows. Now, just a quick glance to the future. A couple of years ago, it was counted that at least 20 European countries had a national database for research publication metadata. And in the framework of NRES, which is European Network for Research Evaluation in the Social Sciences and Humanities, a proof of concept of a European publication infrastructure was prepared to combine all these national databases. And FAIR call for EOSC Research and Innovation Action, which started this year, will continue the work. And integration of these national databases would provide a comprehensive information base of European scientific publication and a lot of potential for research evaluation on the European level.